This is the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Now I'm really excited about this one, so let's just get on with it. So what do Ping say they've delivered here? Well, to start with, they say it's their most stable and forgiving driver ever. And that's where it's gotten its name from, the 10K part at least. 10,000 is the measurement of its moment of inertia or stability within the club head. And that's pretty significant because most drivers in the modern era have plateaued at around the 8,000 MOI mark. How has Ping achieved this 10K measurement? Well, to start with, they've drastically changed the profile of the head. They've stretched the heel and toe and the front to back measurements as far as the rules will permit while still staying within that 460cc overall dimension. And I have to say, I love the look of it. The super rounded stretched head shape and extra real estate behind the ball really suit my eye and inspire a lot of confidence at address. Now, because they've stretched this head so much, that allows them to place the internal weight even further away from the face, which is where the huge jump in MOI comes from. In the Max 10K, this stability takes the form of an internal 28-gram weight, which is positioned lower and deeper, not only for stability, but also for spin control too. And this is something I'm keen to explore because in my experience, dragging weight back and increasing MOI usually goes hand in hand with creating more spin or excessive spin. And for a high-speed player like me, quite frankly, that's not much use. So I'm really keen to see how that pans out. So before getting into the data, I just wanted to talk about some of the unquantifiable things that you don't get from a launch monitor, like sound and feel. And in terms of the sound, I think they really nailed it here. Other drivers within the Ping range historically, I'm thinking specifically about the G425, which was a brilliant driver, but I felt it let itself down a little bit with the acoustic, and a lot of people felt that sort of high-pitched ting was a little bit annoying. Now Ping, to their credit, addressed this in the G430 range, and the LS Tech and the other models within this family are a lot more muted and duller. And this is a touch livelier, it sits somewhere between those two, and for me, it hits all the right notes. Going hand in hand with that sound is the feel from the club face. And wow, the feel. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever hit anything as stable as the Max 10K. Wherever I hit this thing on the face, its resistance to twisting is sensational. It really took me by surprise, this element of it. I mean, I've heard the marketing, but until you see it yourself and you experience it, you can all be a little skeptical, right? But I have to say, in terms of stability and feel, this delivers in bucket loads. So what do the numbers say? Well, this is where I started to get really excited. Obviously, I've mentioned during testing I could feel the stability and the really tight dispersion, but as I also mentioned, this has historically come off with a bit of a trade-off for me in terms of excessive spin. But not this time. So from an average club head speed of around my standard 120 miles per hour mark, I was getting a really solid 174 miles an hour of ball speed, which from a driver as safe as this thing is exceptional. I was launching exactly where I'd want to, around the 11-degree mark, and the all-important spin number that I was eagerly anticipating was just under 2,500 revs per minute, which from a club head with this level of MOI is frankly astonishing. Now this all added up to an average carry for me of 293 yards and a total of 316. Another big part of this story is the dispersion. Now I noticed through my testing, and I'm not known as a particularly straight driver of the golf ball if I'm honest, but my left to right and even my front to back dispersion with the Ping Max 10K was ludicrously tight. So I wanted to test it against some of the other models within the range. I've got the LST and I've got the Max head because I wanted to see where it stacked up from a dispersion point of view. So starting with the Max model, as you can see from the graphic, dispersion was pretty tight. I hit one where I just shut the face down and it kind of zoomed off to the left a little bit, but on the whole, dispersion was pretty tight. but I did achieve that with quite a high spin number. So I was spinning that well over 3,000 revs. So that's something to note with the Max range. It is stable and you will get a nice tight dispersion, but it will suit players who need a little bit more spin. Moving on to the LST, well, you can see straight away my dispersion's gone up. Certainly my distance and my spin numbers are more in line with what I would generally want to see, but it does feel a little bit more volatile from a left to right perspective. So again, that's something to be aware of. And then finally, I've got the Max 10K. I think I've said enough good things about this driver, but I think this graphic says it all. From left to right, from front to back, that's a ludicrous dispersion pattern. And I've not cherry picked these, I've just hit 5 shots straight out the bat in the same place, with the same shaft and the same setup and the same balls. And this is the data that's come out, and it's what I've seen throughout testing. Now, from the discussions I've had with Ping and the engineers at Ping, they're very smug about this driver, and they've got every right to be. Now, I think this driver will benefit just every genre of player, from the weekend warrior to the tour player. Everyone is going to benefit from this level of stability and playability, and you're just going to have to dial your spin numbers in with a really good fitting. It comes in 9, 10.5 and 12 degrees of loft, so there really is something for everyone here. The Ping G430 Max 10K might not just be my favorite driver of 2024, this might be the best all-round driver that I've ever hit. So it won't surprise you to know it's going straight in my bag for 2024.